Welcome back, everybody. This is another episode before we go to the Classic Green Show in Wisconsin. And I've had it in the back of my mind for as long as they announced that Brunt drills were going to be featured. I by chance had one stuck in the shop, and it's been sitting there for many years. And so I decided, since I got my other project done, the Spoker D, I am gonna try to get that thing restored and take it to the show also. The only way we can date it is that it had a date from 1902 to 1912 on the alfalfa seeder. So I'm guessing it's a drill that precedes John Deere owning Brunt. And it's not painted yellow, red, and green. It's painted black and red from the parts I've taken apart. Today I've got all the parts hung up and I'm painting them black. These are mostly the metal pieces, and then the seed box is kind of an ox blood red color, so I've got to do that yet. And then the wheels are kind of a creamish color, so I think it's a pretty early drill. So I'm getting it ready to go. So I took the drill all apart and I sandblasted all the metal pieces, and my son and daughter are going to restore the seed box, the wooden parts. They're going to sand them down and paint them, and my daughter's going to stencil the writing back on them, so that's going to be exciting. So I'm ready to paint now. We've sandblasted all the parts and laid them out on the tables and on the hanging racks and blew them all off, and we got a nice still day today so we can paint pretty nicely. And so I'm ready to go. I'm just using the black gloss enamel paint with some hardener in it, and I think that should be suffice. So I'm ready to go. This is my final coat. I've got the wheels here prepped, ready to be painted. I knocked off the outside rims so I can paint on all the surfaces, and then I'll reinstall them on there and give them a final coat when I'm done. This one I had to rebuild down here. It was about halfway rotted away, and so I built it back up with epoxy. And so what I did is I wrapped the outside rim here with aluminum foil, and then I slipped the rim back on the wheel to give me an outside dam to work up against. There's still a little bit of the tin foil still embedded in there. And then on the inside I made another PVC strip that went in between the spokes, and I clamped that together and then filled it up with epoxy. And I did it in several coats. I put in like a 1/4 inch at a time and let it dry, and then reapply until I got it built up to the right dimensions. And then I took a rasp file and filed it down to get it very close, and then I sanded it. And so the wheels are all sanded, ready for some paint. I'm going to put a primer on it first, and should have the color on yet this evening. So that's the update from the Brunt grain drill in western Nebraska.
This is Jordan, Nathan's daughter, speaking. After we took apart all the panels, my brother went through and sprayed every single one of them a beautiful red. I took measurements and pictures of what was stenciled on the drill originally, and I recreated them in my design program on my computer. My brother then took my files and put them into a CNC program and basically laid a mask on to the drill piece, and then cut a negative out of the stencil and then spray painted it in, and see, that's how you get this really beautiful end product. Here is the Van Brunt logo I created based on tons of pictures and reference photos. Here's the Van Brunt mark that my brother made, just based on what he had on this wood panel. It's pretty amazing what he did. I had the privilege of painting on the floral motifs on both sides of the drill, and here's me just using some oil paints and some brushes, and it took me a while, but I finally did get a good method down.
Welcome to our little shop here. I happen to rent a little corner here at this woodworking shop, so I run my CNC machine and do various woodworking and millworking things. So a fun little project here for me has been working on the stenciling for the drill. As you can see, we got multicolored stenciling going here. So some of these motifs, the flowery motifs were hand painted by my sister, but all of the font type and pinstriping I've done here at the shop with some vinyl masking, and I have a laser head for my CNC machine where I can cut the vinyl masking away and then weed out the parts where I want to spray and then paint it and peel it off. So I've used that method to get to what you see now. Some of this stuff, like you can see here, the VB, this is from my research, a little more cartoonish version of the VB Van Brunt logo, but luckily there was still a very faint bit of this left at the top, so I kind of recreated it, as kind of put my artist hat on, and I think I got a convincing logo. So yeah, that's kind of the state of where we are now. We got assembly going and maybe some wheel pinstriping and so on and so forth. Stay tuned.
The acre counter. It's got a little mechanism in there that rolls as you plant and then counts up the acres on the dial. Back in the turn of the century, I didn't know they had such a thing.
Wow.
Gotta figure out which one goes where.
Here's a picture of me and my brother and my dad. We're all so proud of what we've made.
So I'm at my son's shop and finishing up pinstriping the wheels. And we've stenciled the hubs on the wheels to exactly the same way they were. And here's the rest of the drill. Mostly put together. Got just a couple bolts left on it to put together. This is the wheel that's finished, with the stenciling on the hub and the pinstriping on the spokes, and all the seed boxes